Welcome back to my dirty little desktop. It's been quite a while. I am well aware, and I apologize, but we are working on a nice little studio area for myself in the house, besides this small baby by baby size square we have in our bedroom. So hopefully in the future things will be looking up for old Guard Bro and his miniatures. But today we're going to be talking about Neckbeardias and or the Merchants Guild Oni models. So I got these quite a while ago. I probably hear James grinding his teeth from how long it took me to get them out here. But as y'all are aware, there's a lot of things going on that got in the way. But these are the Ogre miniatures that he 3D prints, and I have to say these are by far my most favorite Ogre miniatures I've ever seen, due to the fact that they're just not they're not dumb looking. Like when you get most Ogre models, they look really dumb, but these look more, I don't know, they seem more logical, better representation. A better representation of what an Oni is. And this guy reminds me of the ogres from World of Warcraft, the two-headed Magi ones, but he's an Oni because you see he's got actually very Japanese themed. And I don't know, these guys seem like the better option for Oni models. I think I called them ogres before. I don't know why I did that, but yeah, these are the Oni models from Neckbeardia's store. But you got your big caster guy, and then you got you got the main leader on his big mount thing. This big, I think it's a wolf looking thing. You got a banner, and this guy comes with a lot of options. Like this is the mounted option, and then there is the close combat option. And as you can see with the white paint on there, you can see a lot more of the details you guys have on them. They're actually just completely wreathed in details. Like, trying to paint them, you really see all the details that are on them. I get this strange striation effect when I primed them. I think it's part of the 3D printing process where that happens. But as you can see, they are extremely well detailed, all things considered. They really are. And it's one of those things, that you look for this kind of stuff in a model. You always do. You want nice details, not an overcluttering of details, but nice details. And while these guys near the top of having almost too many details, they still work with the model because a lot of the details are in the flesh and just the ornamentation that gives them that Oni feel and that Japanese feel as well. It's really good. And of course, these Onis are naturally most well known for their female models, if you ask me. I think these are the better female Oni models. Usually when you see a female Oni, it's kind of grotesque looking. But these are stunning female models, I believe. They seem combat ready. Like of course they have the usual sex appeal that all female models have in the miniature world, but they're strong. They're strong female models. They have thick muscular legs, thick muscular arms, and they're carrying one of these big ass fucking Japanese two-handed. There's a certain name for them. Actually, I want to look up real quick. So Google says it's called a kanabo, or the kanabo, literally metal stick. So they got one of these big ass backbreakers. And I mean, yeah, for a female model, this is kind of what you want. Something that's terrifying, but also appealing. Not this strange, grotesque thing that is, well, don't get me wrong, he does have a few of those models in here. There are a few of the I'll pull one out and show you. So usually when you're buying these models, you'll find something like this. You'll find Big Mama in there. This is usually what you find. So it's actually a nice there's at least a variety. You have your Big Mama Oni, and then your, actual live combat Oni. I think it's great that this pack has both of these options in there. A lot of times you don't get the option, you just get these. But these, at least you get both the options here. And there is the Oni Beauty, and James decided to print this out in a in a monster height. So yeah, here's the difference. But James can print these out at any height you want. You just gotta ask for it. And the Oni Beauty is naturally the most appealing of the Oni. And as you can tell, she definitely holds up to the name of being an Oni Beauty in more ways than one. But it still is a very nice model, you know. Be a great centerpiece, be a great monster piece. Like saying a giant, why not a giant Oni Beauty? You know what I mean? That way, when the guy pulls out his grotesque, lumpy-headed giant, you go, here's my giant, and he's like, well, I feel ugly now, because now you have the Oni Beauty striding the battlefield and mooning all of our enemies, as the war gods would have wanted, I think. All right. So this is how they look. That's how they prime up. But how do they paint up? They paint up extremely well. I actually had quite a fun time painting these Oni. The detail cluster doesn't really come through as much when you're painting them. And, you know, there's a lot of recess. If you wanted to, you could probably put glowing effects in these little curl lines here. I decided not to, just for the simplicity. But, you know, they paint up extremely well, and they are extremely eye-catching, I think. Extremely eye-catching. And I was kind of surprised at how much these Kanobos, the big metal sticks, I mean, they look really good. When you go in there, a nice deep mahogany color, and a nice poppin' steel or copper or even gold raised metal edges. Oh, they look so good. They look so good. And I'm actually looking forward to painting the rest of these, because what I did was I used the top rim metal, this metal, and this whole bottom part I made metal. See there? And then the bottom part metal as well. So it actually breaks up all the mahogany. And I think it works extremely well. I was quite pleased with it. As normal, I'm shit with cloth. That's something I can admit. I'm not the best using cloth. And then, you know, there are these little bands here. So on their shoulder straps, these wooden straps, there are metal studs, and then these little leather bands. And again, the leather bands and the big metal spikes help break up the you know, all that mahogany, all the wood color. Then you got the rope, and you got, you know, the little jade. I made these jade. I used a green, and I treated the balls and the medallions as a jade. So I used green and a paint on, not a matte varnish, a, what would you call it? Well, not matte varnish. It was a glaze medium. Yeah, it was a glaze medium, so make it all shiny. And yeah, that's how the male painted up. The males look fucking ferocious. I love how the males look. Big old chunky motherfuckers. Alright. And of course, as you guys know, I did change up the the weapons here. This technically goes to the big boss man, and so does this, but I put it on her because I like her better. But here's a red flesh Oni with white war markings. Yeah, and this was very, very fun to paint. The models soak up paint very well. They soak up washes very well. And going the extra mile, I put little dots of blue in her eyes. Not sure if it's picking it up there. But I did not feel comfortable enough putting in a black iris. I just left the blue orbs in there for blue eyes and called it a day. I gave her white hair. The sword, this is technically the big boss man's sword. I gave it to her because I like her better, because she's hot, and that's how this world works, if you ask me. So I gave her the big sword, and it paints up really, really well. I made it kind of like a stony steel color, well worn. The same jade treatment here. She has this awesome, like, I guess you call it a skirt, but you know, the skirt paints up very well, soaks up paint. I had a bit of a mishap right here. I was cutting out a bit of the sprue and got a little too deep. And they got this little sake jug that I painted up. And yeah, I mean, this paints up extremely well. The shoulder pads, I thought that's a lot of metal. So I broke it up. I made part of it metal and part of it actually jade. So I went in and did the horns and tusks in that green jade color. And helps break up that steel. The most thing you want to do with any miniature, is break up the steel. I can probably turn this up higher, can't I? Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it looks much better now. Jesus. So with any model, you want to break up monotonous colorings. So what I did is that I said that's a lot of steel in there. I don't want to use gold or So I want to use something else, something that's going to pop. So I used green, like that jade, and made that shoulder face pop just that little more, and it came out great in my opinion. Opinions, of course, may vary. I carried over that to the other shoulder pad, and then the medallion back here, and then this little hairband looking thing. And then I went in and did a few war markings, white tusks. I put some markings here on her leg and one on her left breast and on the leg here. And I think it helps break up all the red. So again, awesome models. And if you paint them up, they can be even more awesome. Even more awesome. But yeah, these are the Oni from Neckbeardia and the guild that does all the 3D printing. And these ones, as you can tell, have less sprue marks. Why, you ask? There's a man on there that James was talking to that did all the structure supports himself. He planned them out and launched that as its own like little file, so that way you could download these and have all the sprues preset in the best locations. And as you can tell, there's barely any sprue marks, thanks to him, thanks to his hard work. So yeah, there you go. If you want some good looking Oni models that don't look like dog shit and paint up and are fun to paint, and you like really hot female Oni, hey, stop by James's store on eBay, get you some Oni, get some painting, and get into playing. But this has been basically Guard Bro. I have the other channel. I'm just so locked in on the other one. I guess Guard Bro Miniature Reviews. That's what I'm doing. And yeah, this has been the Oni. So until I see you next time on this side of the veil, this has been Guard Bro.